Hi mate, we're going to be showing you how to use this lovely piece of equipment called the Trap Bar. We're going to show you how to use it, how not to use it, what it's good and what it's not good for. It's your complete guide. Let's check it out. Hi mate, my name's Adam from Adam Movement Therapy and I help you return to the gym and stay there. So today we're talking about the Trap Bar Deadlift. So before we get into what the actual Trap Bar Deadlift works and what it's good for, what it's not for, we're going to jump straight into it because I know that's what you want to do and show you how to actually do it and how not to do your Trap Bar Deadlift. If you think about the Trap Bar Deadlift, it's between a squat and a deadlift. Okay, so with your Trap Bar Deadlift, to keep it simple as possible, is you obviously step into the hex bar, trap bar, and what we're looking at doing is getting into a position that's not quite a Romanian deadlift, and it's not quite a squat. Okay, so Romanian deadlift, you sit all the way back here and then you have vertical shins throughout the whole maneuver, okay? Whereas your squat, you're starting in the position, well, your bottom position of your squat is you're sitting down into the squat, knees over. Basically, your thighs are parallel to the floor, okay? We're gonna sit somewhere in between there. So if you look at me, if you think this is a squat, like here, and this is your Romanian deadlift, we're gonna grip the bar in the middle there, and then we're gonna sit somewhere in the middle like that. So my knees are just over a little bit. I've got my center of mass over my hands. And we've got to remember two cues here. The first one is making sure to break the bar. This is the easiest way to illustrate. So you're gonna grip that bar and you're gonna bring the back of your elbows forward like that. So the way that's gonna look from the front is we're gonna grip that bar. And if you watch where my elbows are, I bring them around left, right, like so. And then I push gently, just push my knees out into my forearms just a little bit. Okay, so what that's doing is getting our shoulders tight and also getting our hips in the right position. Break the bar here, we push the knees out just a little bit. What happens when I push the knees out, it gets me out of this flexed spine. So if I push my knees out, it gets me into a nice upright position. I can sit up a little bit more I can pretty much look forward with the trap bar. Break the bar, and then all I'm thinking about is pushing the floor away, getting tight, and then push the floor away, straight up and squeezing my butt and back down. What we want to make sure of when we're doing the Trap Bar Deadlift is making sure that we've got our shoulders and our hips stabilized before we lift it. And to be honest, to fix most of the issues you're going to have with this lift is going to be doing those two things. In other words, breaking the bar more or spreading the floor with your feet. If I don't spread the floor with my feet or break the bar, you can see where my shoulders end up and my hips end up, okay? So if I just lift up like so, if I do the opposite of that, my shoulders are gonna come forward a little bit, and if I don't think about what my hips are doing, I'm gonna be more likely to round when I lift up the bar, okay? Whereas if I push my hips out like so, break the bar, that pulls my body into a really nice position when I lift it up, okay? If you're finding that you're rounding your back or your shoulders are coming too far forward, just think about breaking the bar and spreading the floor more, okay? Or you could have it the other way. Rather than flexing your spine too much, you might overarch your lower back. So it might look something like this, where you overarch and then you're lifting up like that, okay? The way we fix up, you guessed it, is just to spread the floor a bit. So if I'm in this position and I push my knees out, it pushes my hips into a better position. And if I break my bar, it always does the same thing. Make sure when you're at the very top not to push the hips too far forward. You want to think about being tall up to the sky rather than tall and back, okay? So the way I think about it is I grip the bar here and I'm trying to get the top of my head to touch the roof, very, very roof. So rather than being more upright, I'm just thinking about stretching my neck up to the sky. So I can look somewhere like here, tuck my chin a bit, and then look out the window, if your gym's got a window, or at the wall, the mirror, and just stretching my neck up to sky and breaking the bar at the very top there, okay? On the descent of the trap bar, it's a lot like a Romanian deadlift, much like how you'd do the eccentric portion of a deadlift. So much like the deadlift, you can just dump the weight. There's not much eccentric portion for it. It's more of a concentric movement. So the way we'd do that is grip grip the bar, get tight, pull up the weight here, squeeze my butt, and all I'm thinking about as I go down is just my hips just go back and I'm dropping the weight, like so. So it looks a lot like a Romanian deadlift on the way down, a little bit less on the way up. The other big mistake for it is squatting the bar. In other words, keeping those hips too low and just squatting straight up, okay? The way we can fix that is try to get you better at your hip hinge pattern, okay? So you can grab a stick like this, okay? And put the stick behind you like so. And what you're going to do is just focus on sitting back into your hips and keeping your shins vertical, okay? So the way you do this, you keep the stick here, and you're sitting back, keep the stick on 3 points of contact, so here, here, and back of your head. And what we focus on doing here is keeping a straight spine and then just sitting back into those hips and feeling those hamstrings, okay? And yes, I know when you're doing the trap bar, it's gonna look a bit more something like a squat where your knees bend forward, but just getting to know your hips and know to sit back into your hamstrings is really gonna help you out with getting this lift better. Another mistake that I see when people are using the trap bar is they don't know how to take the weight plates off the trap bar. So the easiest way I find to do it is to actually lift it up on here, like so. So it hinges up, both the plates are off the floor. And what I can do is I can just slide this one plate off, let it fall where it is. And then if you've got a whole heap on one side, all you have to do is just lift it up and then pull the bar out from the weight. So the trap bar deadlift is great for lots of different things. The first thing, it seems to take the pressure off the lower back than a conventional deadlift. It's probably because of you feel like you're a bit more upright in the position. So for a normal deadlift, you would be down here. It's quite a tight position to get into. So with a trap bar deadlift, especially if you're using the higher handles, you're in a much more upright position. So rather than being down like here, you can hold on there and you can actually bend your knees a bit, look out in front of you, which is a lot easier on your lower back. It's a lot better also if you've got mobility restrictions. In other words, if you are going for a deadlift, you're in a tighter position, you've got the higher handles, so you can get in a more upright position, and it's a lot easier on your hip mobility. And because it's a lot more like a squat pattern, it's a lot easier to understand and pick up a trap bar deadlift and get doing it. So it's the barbell seems to be a lot more difficult for generally for most people, whereas a trap bar, it seems to be a lot more natural. Which leads on to my next point, where the trap bar deadlift is a lot more useful for athletes out there, because you think that when you're an athlete, you're generally your knees are going over your toes when you're trying to move around and whatnot. With a trap bar, it puts you in that position that you'll naturally be on. With a barbell deadlift, when you're sitting back like so, like that, it's not as a natural movement as a trap bar deadlift. So you'll find that you'll see that a lot of athletes prefer to do this lift. Probably in some cases won't ever really even do a conventional deadlift, okay? The only real drawbacks for the trap bar deadlift, if you're looking to compete in a competition where you need to do barbell movements, if you're just going to be doing the trap bar the whole time, you're probably not going to do as well as if you did actual conventional deadlifts, which goes without saying. So, but it can be very useful to cycle through. You might do deadlifts at the start of your week, and then if you want to do a different kind of deadlift, you can do trap bar within the same week, or you can take a couple of weeks off just doing the trap bar. Maybe you just want to give your lower back a rest. It is just really great to change up things rather than always just doing conventional deadlifting. When you compare it to your barbell deadlift, it's obviously not going to hit posterior chain and your hamstrings and your butt as much. Because we're getting a bit of knee going over the toes a little bit, you're getting a little bit more quad in this. That's why I say that this is somewhere in between a conventional deadlift and a squat. But all in all, I would say if you're not looking to do a competition, if you're looking to just go to the gym just to get a bit stronger, build some muscle, and you're not looking to compete in a powerlifting competition, there's no real reason that you ever need to touch a barbell, only if you really want to know how to deadlift. You could go on trap bar deadlifting for the rest of your life, and that really wouldn't matter. You'd still get stronger, you'll still build more muscle, and you'd be completely fine. So there you have it. There's my complete guide to the trap bar deadlift. I hope this really helps you out. If you ever go into the gym and you're running into injuries or issues, you're trying to get back into the gym, but pain or issue comes up, or you really just find it hard to know what you're doing in the gym, check out my guide called the 7 Lifts to Bulletproof Your Body After Injury. So it goes through all the different lifts, all the big 7 lifts that you'd normally do in the gym, but it just teaches you a bit of a reference guide on how to get those done so you don't end up injuring yourself, or when you're getting back into the gym for a long while, you know what you're doing. So I'll pop that guide in the description down below. Please make sure to subscribe, give this a thumbs up. My name's Adam and I help you return to the gym and stay there.